Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Joe.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking. Can you imagine we talk like that?
I've been working on my straight voice actually lately. That's my interpretation of what I would sound like if I was straight. And I know yours is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, we can talk like this all day if you want, bro.
So I don't know if you saw it last night. Hawk Tua was at the Dolphins game.
Hawk Tua was at the Dolphins game?
Bro. Fuck yeah,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Yeah. And
she have fun?
the Rizzler was around, I want to say.
Yeah,
I think
I love
the
that
Rizzler
kid.
was doing some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that if you know me, I'm like, the Rizzler, that's my kid.
He's GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He's a GOAT, bro.
Yeah. He's
yeah.
so you and the Rizzler have that like Riz in common. Yeah.
It's like it's really hard to like be able to mimic his talent and like his abilities, but like it really is so amazing to be able to see where he's gonna go in the future.
Because he's building he's building a long-term career for sure. Yeah.
It's amazing. Love that girl though. Hey, what's her name?
Haley Welch.
Haley. Yeah, Hawk Tua. That's so funny that she became famous because of that.
It's so fucking it's so fucking funny, and I am so fucking proud of that girl. Like my own sister.
It's pretty dope for sure.
Yeah. What do straight men talk about?
It's like exactly like
what do they talk about?
I was so sick because I was like, what else are we gonna say?
Right, and I'm not one to, and this might sound like I'm joking, but I believe this to be true. And maybe the podcast contradicts me. I'm not one to really talk down about straight men in their purest form. Like, I think we should all be more positive about them. Maybe they'll stop trying to kill us.
Yeah.
But I do think, I wonder what they do. Like, when they hang out with the boys, is it just talking about like women's bodies and like a sports game?
Let me think. So I think that
what do we talk about?
What are we talking about?
Like the
You're
gays,
like gays, but no,
right? Like,
never.
what do we talk about?
I mean, like pop culture. What's going on in their life? So they're probably. Let me think. I can only assume. Well, football's over. Like Travis Kelce,
right?
Like,
bro.
I'm sure they talk about like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, like crazy that like Taylor is like taking over the game. Like that's probably I can see what they're talking about there. I can only assume as well, like, you know, surface level things.
But their relationships, you think?
Relationships. They're like, Kelsey's
like
been driving me up the
fucking
wall.
wall with this shit. Yeah, she wants me to like go to her cousin's wedding in Alabama.
And I can't get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they probably talk about their relationships, but like surface level.
I'm talking bottom of the barrel here because I do believe there are some who probably actually do get pretty serious with their friends.
This is the thing. You don't have to say to me, I love straight men.
I know you do.
And I'm sorry that I even said that statement. Like, I know that to some that's like, whoa. Mm-hmm. But even like when we meet straight men of the girlfriends that listen to this pod, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. They're respectful. Yeah. They're giving me a hug. They might be like, you two crack me up.
And I'm like, well, why?
Exactly.
What's so funny?
It's like, you laughing with?
Right.
Or you laughing at? But I can trust that they're laughing with.
Do you remember when we did our Boston show and 3 like 40-plus-year-old straight businessmen walked in?
Joe.
Do you think they were talent scouts?
They weren't scouting shit if that was the case, because not to say that we're talentless. Well, but I mean, we put out an amazing show.
They were like the famous Boston talent scouts.
They were like they walked into that room with like suits almost. Yeah. They were like drunk as hell.
They were drunk as hell. They left early. They left early.
Well, I mean, I would leave early too if you walked into 2 gays talking about nothing in like Boston. Were we wearing colonial wear?
I was dressed as Abigail Williams, and you were dressed as Paul Revere.
That's a crazy thing that we decided to do there.
It's just, and that's when you could just tell like I was driving the ship. Yeah. I was like, that was just a decision where I was like, you know what we're gonna do for this one?
Yeah.
I bought you a Paul Revere costume, put it on.
And I'm like, that's perfect. I actually have always wanted to wear that costume. And then we came out as Hannah Montana, and they walked out before that could even happen. Oh my God. Yeah.
That was a big hit for my body image. The Hannah Montana outfit. I remember that vividly. I remember not wanting to see those Instagram story tags that day.
It's kind of how I felt about the Chapel Roan drag, but then I looked back on the Chapel Roan drag and I was like, we
ate it up so much. Like, it's different. The Hannah Montana one, I was like, we look sloppy.
We ate it up. We ate it up for sure. That's a good way to put it.
It's horrible.
I ate up Hannah Montana and all of the clothes she wore too.
And Lily Trescott, yeah.
And Lily Trescott, that's for certain. But I think this is a good learning experience. It's like, really think about what straight men are talking about. Like, and if you are a straight man, actually, no, you know what? Never mind. I was going to say, if you're a straight man, like, reach out to us and talk about it. But then I think that, like, sometimes I see other straight men, like, on the internet, like, with podcasts, and I'm like, okay, they are talking about something.
Usually, isn't it like How to Murder Women? Isn't that usually like?
No, I think
like
about like
Andrew
those.
Tate
I know
vibes.
Nothing about those guys, but the Basement Yard guys. I'm like, I
wonder what they talk about,
and I'm like, that's actually fucking funny. Like, it is me and you. They're just like, no, bro, what are you saying, bro? That's crazy. I wouldn't eat that sandwich. But
that was like bordering on offensive. Bordering on cancelable behavior.
Yeah, like I'm getting canceled by the straight community for just actually tapping in for a second. Whoa. I know. And everyone wants to say like I'm not an actor.
Right.
And you can't cast me as a straight man. Like I'm verse.
And you're straight presenting.
To some. You know what I was thinking? No, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into this.
What?
Because sometimes I forget, like, I am a man, right? Like, I know I am a man. I get that. Sometimes I forget, like, sometimes women like men. And I forget that women still can like gay men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a romantic way. Because I see that, I'm like, that's my sister. I've been in certain situations lately where like I feel like the conversation has just lingered a little too long, that I'm like, maybe they're into it, but like, where's your boyfriend? You know what I mean?
What?
I don't know what I just said.
Good children. That wasn't it, but that was nice.
It wasn't bad, and I wouldn't say that they would ask us to sing at the Oscars.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But if it was last week, yes.
But if it was last week, we could get a few things down.
And it's a shame that our memory is that short, that of a goldfish, that we have already lost that melody.
I wouldn't even be able to tell everybody here what I did this past weekend. But how did this podcast even form?
It is shocking.
It's shocking because it's us talking about our I live in the past. But the past is far away. I barely live in the present.
I'm Joe Hegyes.
And I'm Andrew Muscarella.
And this is Good Children.
We spent the past 24 years growing together.
And now it's time for us to grow up.
Wow. I bet you're wondering, what are they going to talk about today? Is it straight men?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, no, don't make it straight men. Don't make it the crushing weight of society and the economy like it's been lately. Okay, who is excited? We're going to the zoo.
We're going to the zoo. And if there are people out there, they're like, oh shit, like what the hell are they going to say about the zoo?
We're not even really going to the zoo.
We're not even really going to the zoo.
We're just going to sit here and talk about the zoo.
But buckle up. Buckle up. I think that we've honestly broached, is that the word, broach? Oh, I really spit. But it like congealed a bit. That sucks. We've broached the subject. Is that the word?
Yeah.
It's not breached.
I think it's broached.
Okay, we broached the subject before. But I don't. What?
Well, not breach. I understand what you're saying with breach, but I think you could broach a subject.
I think you broach a subject.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm so sick of looking stupid.
I know. It's like, and that's the problem with having a podcast. It's like every single week, it's like you come on here and you can be the dumbest person, but like really in reality, like you read so much, Joe, and it's like,
thank you.
It sucks because you are constantly doing the work to put in like for your vernacular, but then you get on this podcast and you couldn't even tell me if broach was correct, and that's not on you.
I don't think it is.
It's not on you, and I don't.
It's on the cameras and the lights.
It's on the cameras and the lights.
It's on the cameras and the lights.
It's on the cameras.
The 50-person crew behind these cameras.
And the millions of people listening. And I don't want anyone out there, if you feel like you sometimes miss a word, if it's not the right word in context, don't beat yourself up about it. Because we're putting it on camera.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
Shame. It could be so much worse for you.
But today we're going to the zoo.
Recently
today we're
talking about the word equivocate.
No, I don't believe that because they add Kate at the end of words.
Equivocate?
Wouldn't it just be equivalent?
Equivocate means to lie.
Oh.
I'm sure I'm wrong.
No, I'm
sure
you're so right.
And the word equivocate isn't it? And I was like, I need to learn what that word means.
My dad was driving me in the car yesterday and he goes, it's such a shame I didn't get you to learn Latin. Imagine I added another thing to the books, but yeah, you're right, because I would have been able to say equivocate.
Deus et omnia.
That's from some like Catholic school shit.
And the demons capture the mind and the heart will follow. Or it's something from Harry Potter.
Do you feel like the people that learned Latin, though, like, if you willingly learned Latin, what was going on? Like, what
do you mean? People had to. Patty knows Latin.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of schools, like, teach you Latin because it's the core of so many languages.
Why did we lose sight of that?
Andrew, it's shocking they teach kids how to read at this point in the American public education system.
They're teaching I feel like the American public education system, they're teaching kids how to read on the outside of the page. It's probably they're going around the page and then working their way into the middle.
Math shit.
What was the Common Core?
Common Core.
The Common Core. It's like,
go to hell.
It's no longer like 8 minus 3 equals 5. It's so the number 12 exists, but if you were to subtract the 3 and add 4, then you'll get to your number. No, enough. Division, multiplication. Let's keep it simple, stupid. And I'm so sorry to all the teachers out there because I think that you're doing amazing work, especially the math teachers. You're doing incredible work, but it has nothing to do with you. Equivocate. I tend to equivocate.
So you were talking about the zoo.
So the zoo. When's the last time you were in a zoo?
Girl.
You go to the zoo all the time. I'm going to say, I think I checked your location a week or 2 ago. You were in the zoo.
Yeah.
What's that
Valentine's
about?
Day.
Valentine's Day, you went to the zoo?
Me and Ross, like, love zoos. Like, we both love animals. And, like, it's become a real part of our relationship is, like, to watch, like, zoo videos on YouTube and, like, watch that Animal Kingdom zoo show. And then we, like, go to the zoo.
That's really cute. Sweet. It's like, are you guys like you're into bears, you're into otters, you're into I can only assume a flamingo is probably something as well.
I think that's what you would be considered. That's your tribe.
You think because I'm like a little bit pink, my legs are nice and long, but I got a fat ass.
And you love some shrimp.
And I love a shrimp cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
So I really am a flamingo. Tribe.
But I found my tribe. But not only that, it's like when people ask you the question that makes you like, it makes me stress. Like, what is your favorite animal, or like what animal do you identify with? Like now I can at least say
flamingo.
Like, flamingo.
Duh. Wait, you're so flamingo.
I'm so flamingo. Like they have like that gorgeous neck, kind of short torso, like very wide. And that's amazing. And then they just want to stand on one leg.
And show off.
And sleep.
Yes.
And nestle their head in their body.
And they love, again, shrimp. And shrimp is a big part of that for them.
And I love a shrimp oreganata.
I know that. Yeah, I do know that.
Breadcrumbs and garlic.
Yeah, delicious. So I go to the zoo. I was at the Central Park Zoo most recently, which is a really interesting place. Not a lot of animals, and that's probably for the best. It's pretty small. But those sea lions and those seals, I think it's seals at the front entrance that you can see.
Yeah.
First of all, Madagascar, the movie Madagascar.
It unlocked a lot for me.
Well, they really equivocated what that zoo is.
They equivocated
regarding the zoo. I'll say. I mean, no zebras, no lions.
Really?
No giraffes. No hippos.
You know what? Maybe that is for the best.
It's for the best. They have some big bears. I'll say that, and those bears were really, really gorgeous and stunning.
Really.
Some sea lions, some seals, and I guess let's not get into the Central Park Zoo in specificity. Let's just talk about zoos.
Well, I have a question about a zoo.
Yeah, please. Maybe you ask me as many questions as you want today.
Right. Because I've heard some things about zoos.
I know.
And I would like to discuss that on the podcast.
Let's talk about it.
Because I know that there are some people out here today that are listening to this episode saying, are they seriously about to defend a zoo? When I feel there are certain parameters that zookeepers may take to keep these animals, quote unquote, in captivity. So can you speak a little bit on what zoos can do to allow for a comfortable and safe space for animals?
Well, first of all, I do think a lot of people are mistaking like a circus for what a zoo could be. And I think that, of course, there are shitty zoos, but like most zoos are run day to day by people who like have devoted their lives to caring for and taking care of animals. A lot of zoos have rescue animals, animals that have been rehabilitated and can't be released back into the wild, or rescued from like a Joe Exotic situation, like private exotic animal owners, and they've been rescued and they are brought to zoos. My opinion on zoos, the ethics of a zoo, has wavered tremendously over the years. And the more I've learned about the work of a zookeeper, the more I have found a lot of peace and harmony with zoos.
And now our zookeepers, I can only assume...
Panabaker, Danielle Panabaker. One of the Panabaker girls is a zookeeper.
Currently?
Yes.
Oh, I'd like to visit that zoo.
Imagine.
I'll tell you, these girls in
I'm getting an iPad. I'm going to do it this time because imagine I could look all these things up. I'm going to get an iPad.
Get the iPad, Joe.
Small.
It could be as big as you need it.
I think it's going to be small, but thank you.
But the Panabakers, I would like to see them at the zoo. I understand that the zoo, I mean, I can only imagine zoologists have to go like through extensive work, extensive research, extensive schooling.
I'm halfway into my education and it's tough.
Do they have to wear like little cute outfits?
Well, it depends. I would say some outfits are cute. If you watch the Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom show, that shit, like some of them are wearing the worst outfits you've ever seen, and it's a shame. I
could be a zoologist. Well, I can't design shit, but I could at least tell them what I think would be cute for them to wear in the zoo. That could be my role at the zoo.
That's fun, yeah.
I can also work the concession. I'll tell you something about zoos, though.
I knew that you were going to bring this up, and I'm so glad you didn't. Before we got into this episode, I was like, I want to make sure we talk about the food that's available at a zoo.
And I recognize that, like, when we decided that we were going to speak about the zoo today, all was coming in my head was the concession stand. And that has more reflection on me than zoos in general.
But that's important.
But obviously, if any episode is going to air of this podcast, I'm probably going to find a way to weasel food into it.
Wow.
Yeah, I just hit you with the double food and animal combo. So let's talk about the concession stand at the zoo. Lately, I've only been to one zoo in most recent times.
When? Where?
Parks. What's the Park Slope Zoo?
The Prospect Park Zoo. How is it, Andrew? I've been dying to go.
You've been dying to go?
I've been dying to go. I've heard great things.
Well, I would say that I went to the zoo. I'm never really in it. I think I don't think my heart is in the zoo.
Yeah.
I think that
the zoo is not for you.
No, it's not for me. And I do love to see an animal, but it's just, I don't know. I'm a feeler. So sometimes I'll see like a dingo and I'm like,
why are you here?
Baby, like you're just going to go right back into your little, like, you know, to hide your little comfort tent, whatever they're put in, and then they come out for a second just to be gawked at.
Well, it depends on that's the thing about zoos again. I think that you got to look at it like my aquarium, like my fish tank.
Yeah,
and we're not going to even get into aquariums today because that would require extensive research. But we all know SeaWorld. Although we got some flack for that one.
People were
saying that SeaWorld, other than like they're making a lot of efforts, I think SeaWorld is making strides to undo the damage it has done, and like they have not since like people, I guess since they got caught killing whales, they like stopped. There's no more new whales, and they're working on rehoming all of those whales and getting them into like centers. I'm making this up.
Well, and everyone like take everything that we say with a grain of salt because I haven't really been paying attention to SeaWorld.
What do you think that expression means?
With a grain of salt.
Take that with a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt.
Okay. Because let me think about this now.
Yeah, I'd love if you
grain. Did. Interesting word. A granule.
Like I think it's one little grain of salt.
I would say take that with a dash of salt.
Well, why? Why?
Because
why does that imply this could not be true?
A grain of salt. Which is interesting because, again, think about it. I'm cooking. I take a grain of salt. I put it in. It only enhances that meal.
Right.
So when you're saying take that with a grain of salt to be hesitant.
Is it take it as a grain of salt? No.
Take that with take that with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt.
It's not going to compute for me currently. I will say, to me, the saltier the better. If it's a pink Himalayan sea salt, even better. So if you're taking a grain of that pink Himalayan and you're going to just say I should feel hesitant, what?
Here we go. It means to view information with skepticism, not fully believing or taking it at face value, as we know. Like a tiny pinch of salt added to food. Essentially, it's not, don't completely trust what you're getting. It's the same thing as, sorry, I can't speak today.
Oh, so they're saying don't trust when someone's taking a little, you don't know what meal you're getting?
Hold on.
Holy crap.
Oh, wow.
No.
So the phrase is thought to come from Pliny the Elder's Naturalis Historia regarding the discovery of a recipe written by the Pontic king Mithridates to make someone immune to poison. One of the ingredients in the recipe was a grain of salt. Threats involving poison were thus to be taken with a grain of salt and therefore less seriously. Whoa. Well, and that first one, by the way, I was reading like the Google AI transcription.
Yeah.
They made that shit up. That's crazy.
They were talking about meals then, because that's where my brain goes with salt. We need
poison.
Everyone needs to recognize this. We just educated.
I know. And imagine I had an iPad, because I could be doing it every 15 seconds.
So when you say take this with a grain of salt,
it comes from Mithridates. And it was because salt was thought to make people immune to poison. So you could take poison with a grain of salt and you'd be fine because it's not that serious.
And people want to tell us we are an educational podcast.
I know.
Like, we just brought up Mithridates.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt.
What were we taking with a grain of salt?
We were taking anything that we say about zoos with a grain of salt.
Oh, yeah, because it was by SeaWorld. That's what it was,
but
right?
Coming back to
the
salt.
Concessions.
Yes, it's the concession stands.
Yes.
I think that we could do better. I think that we could do better in the zoos when it comes to the catering department. Because all you're getting... This is crazy.
What? We have gone in crazy circles, like in a crazy way, because the SeaWorld conversation came from the aquarium conversation, which was not about food. But you had already brought up food, and we had already moved past food, and we're back to food. That's
Joe,
scary.
My ADHD is going off the walls right now.
That's crazy.
That's what happens when you have a double shot of espresso and you say, let me pick up a microphone and start speaking into it.
Whoa. Speaking of that, is my coffee around? Did I finish it?
Shit. So the concession stands. All I'll say about the zoo is sometimes I want more than just a soft pretzel. And maybe sue me.
And I disagree. You know that about me.
Because you're thinking...
A soft pretzel with some beer cheese. A soft pretzel with even some nacho cheese. Some cream cheese. A soft pretzel with some honey mustard.
But
soft pretzel.
Are they... This is the thing. And I hate to quality check the zoo.
They're not
Are
good.
They soft enough?
No.
That's the problem. Do not offer soft pretzels.
Well, what kind of zoos are you go? So this is at the Prospect Park Zoo. You got a soft pretzel that was hard.
Prospect Park Zoo, I got a soft pretzel that was hard. Sue me.
I'll tell you one thing. I went to that zoo in Australia, and they were serving chicken satay.
Oh, see, that's what I mean.
They were serving 7 types of salad, 18 types of wraps. Any tuna, seared tuna. They were serving the most glamorous meals you could possibly imagine.
Welcome to America, am I right?
That's part of the problem.
But I'll say something too, and if this goes for any zoologist out there,
please reach out. Like Brad the limnologist who emailed us.
Yes, Brad,
zoologist in our email as well, please.
Brad, love you. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever really said that to a man, but I hope you're doing well. The zoo, something happened. The zoo, I would like to see almost an Epcot style to the zoo, because sometimes you go to a zoo and they're based off regions.
So you're saying each region you're going to get a different meal from that region.
It's kind of like Eat Around the World.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the
That's
Disney.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
That's brilliant.
Because when you brought up chicken satay, I was thinking Thailand. When I think Thailand, I think elephants. I'm looking at the elephants, and then to the right, I can get my chicken satay.
Yeah.
So it's like you're experiencing what it's like to be in that area, but you're reinforcing that with the food that you can put in your body.
Are you okay?
Correct.
Are you okay? Because a lot of gesticulation just happened.
Sorry, I've been cating a lot lately.
What?
Gesticulating.
And what
or aiding. Baiting.
Yeah. But
stating.
I think that's a really brilliant idea. I really
you.
do. I think that's a really smart idea. I think we need to probably get on that immediately. And I think that would really elevate the zoo experience.
And it's like penguins, right? Where are penguins? Like, I'm just thinking.
I mean, they're
everywhere. They're in Australia too.
Well, there are very few and far between where penguins are.
Correct. But I do remember seeing them in Australia, in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But why not just have the ices over there?
Yeah.
You can keep it with, like, doesn't have to be native to the area. It's like, oh, penguins, chili. Let's get the chilled products by the penguins. Let's get the ice creams.
What the hell? Why not?
That's just my 2 cents. I'm putting in my 2 cents. What's that phrase now mean? Well, that was my 2 cents. Anyways.
So I want to talk back about the ethics of animals.
Please.
Because I do think that, like, the reason I brought up the aquarium before is, like, it depends on how a zoo is keeping their animals. Some zoos are doing this solely for profit. They solely want people to show up and see these animals, and they want them to go home. And they want to make money, and they don't really care that much about these animals. And I'm sure the zookeepers who work there want better for the animals. It's the same as like a Petco employee who cares about their fish. Like, they want better for them than the corporate greed that they are dealing with. A lot of zoos are truly in it to take care of these creatures. And you have to think about a dingo who could be in the wild. And I do agree in some ways, isn't the dingo happier in the wild? It has more stimulation, it has more freedom. A lot of these zookeepers are doing incredible work to enrich and entertain their animals that they're keeping. They're thinking about these animals. This is not a full-time job. It's a 24/7 job. At home, they're thinking about these animals are their pets. They're their loved ones. And so they are really, really, really thinking about ways to sustain and make these animals happy at all times. I mean, obviously, there's like the animal kingdom size of what a zoo could be. And I think in those situations, it's like they might as well be in the wild. They actually probably they can't even tell the difference because of how massive and grand their enclosures are. A place like the Central Park Zoo, a place like Bronx Zoo. I don't know how I feel.
I've never been to the Bronx Zoo.
Speaking of concessions, 4 items on that menu.
What?
You can guess.
Okay, let me guess.
4
pretzels.
Items. I don't know. I would have gotten one.
Nachos with cheese.
I don't think so.
Chicken fingers.
Yes.
Hamburger.
Yes.
That includes the cheese burger.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yes.
And then let's throw something in for the vegetarians here. Let's start thinking about it. What are they getting? A slice of pizza?
I don't remember now. I think it may have been 3.
Oh, they said you're a vegetarian. You're shit out of luck.
Burger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was literally just that.
No, you know what? If people are paying admissions,
if
they're paying money to go see the zoo, obviously it should be going to the upkeep of the animals and their food and the payment of the workers and curating an amazing space.
Yes.
But
you
to
love
me,
to curate an amazing space.
I love it. It's like, you know what? Every single time that you go to the zoo, it should feel like you're hosting an event. It should feel like everyone there feels really comfortable, welcome. They're well fed. They see the animals thriving. I don't often feel that when I go to the zoo. I often feel a sense of ennui. I feel deeply, especially when I'm here. When did we go to the zoo? I'm pretty sure I went to a zoo with you, maybe.
We went to the San Diego Zoo.
Exactly. And I saw giraffes, correct? I saw animals that I didn't think existed in San Diego. And to me, I understand that makes me sad.
Right.
Because I'm like, shouldn't they be in Africa?
But here's another thing about all of these animals. I love that this is almost a debate about zoos. And it's like really respectful. Yeah. Another thing about a lot of these animals, and I talked about this on the Patreon recently, like they're all on the extinction list. They're all on the endangered list. Like every animal that if you look into them, like so many, if not all animals are on the endangered list.
The white rhinos.
And like, so the ones that are in captivity are literally keeping a species alive, and they are trying to repopulate those species and eventually, I think, get them back out into the wild. I think, again, you're going to the wrong zoos. San Diego Zoo is a great zoo.
It was beautiful.
It's a great zoo. They take care of their creatures. Well, I'll tell you one thing about the Central Park Zoo. Those animals were active. They were out and about. Ooh. They were awake. They were all very happy seeming. Oh, I will say there was the sea lions.
Oh, geez, with
And
bashing their head against.
They were just pacing, and that's never a good sign for an enclosed animal.
Because think about me,
Pacing.
Enclosed animal.
Yes.
When you see me pace,
They were just doing laps, and that felt really. I was very sad about that.
But maybe to them, they're doing a HIIT workout.
I don't think it was that, but I understand.
You know what makes me the saddest? And I would actually like to hear your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
Gorillas, monkeys. What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually
because I watched them look at me.
I had that horrible experience. I went to the Bronx Zoo. You remember that? I ruined the day for everyone. I ruined the day for my sister, her husband, and my niece, and my boyfriend. I ruined the day for everyone because I was at the gorilla exhibit and I was watching people like taunt and tease a gorilla and like try to get pictures of this gorilla. And I was. Another issue for me is like, and this is me in any crowded space, I'm in the back.
Of course.
Because I don't want to block a view, especially a place made for children. I'm like, I am not going to block a child's view of a gorilla.
Absolutely.
So I was like outside of it all watching this scene of like all of these people treat this gorilla like an animal, which it is, I guess. But primates have always really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't even like looking at them. I think that I'm not supposed to. Like I was not like if colonialism never happened, if like I was just like born where I was supposed to be born and like nothing ever, I guess I was until like one of my 2 generations up. So, yeah, but still, it's just like I never would have come in contact with one of those things. I never would have seen a gorilla in my life.
No.
If it weren't for zoos, the internet, and photos, and that would have been fine by me. I will say again to talk about that show I watched about the zoo, though. There are some that are endangered, some are sick, some are injured, and I think that's amazing, and they healed them.
Yes.
And they have plenty of space to roam. I feel like that's the top of my list of free those animals.
Because when you look into their eyes, they know you and you know them, and they're saying to themselves, I can't believe I'm on the other side of this glass wall and this loser bitch is looking at me, taking pictures and zooming in on my face. Yeah, I'm going to give you resting, bitch, because I don't want to be here. Last time I actually was at a zoo, might have been Prospect Park. The gorilla was hard.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. The gorilla was hard. And to me, what that signaled was like, actually, I'm going to put on a show for you guys. Because you all think I'm just this little animal. I can do my own little thing. But I'm going to be hard in front of all of you. Because fuck it, right?
Have you ever seen Planet of the Apes? The original?
I don't think I've ever seen the original Planet of the Apes. Do you think I should see it?
I highly recommend.
Okay, I'm gonna do a deep dive on it. Is it gonna make me Ms.?
Yeah, I mean, it's like so. You'll be happy for the apes. You'll be happy for the apes.
I remember seeing the newer Planet of the Apes.
Such an erotics. There's an eroticism to that movie.
Are you gonna say that?
I'm not sorry. With the apes. Not with the apes.
I'm sorry.
And I could prove it to you. I could prove to you that I'm talking about human beings.
There's nothing wrong with it,
Andrew.
Joe.
The movie begins with 3 astronauts who land on a planet and they all strip off all of their clothes. They're nude on camera. They go skinny dipping together and then people steal their clothes. And then these 3 astronauts who are sexy men have to run together naked in the woods trying to find their clothes. And then 2 of them get killed. And the one that's the whole plot of the movie, he is wearing nothing but a tattered rag for the whole movie. And at one point they hose him down, strip the rag off of him, and it's just him like getting pelted with water. Like, and I'm 6 years old watching this.
I believe you.
I'm telling you. It's in my book. It's in my book. Read about it in my book. Read about it in my book.
Okay. I do believe you. I do believe you, but I just can't help but to think.
No. Well, there is a weird scene in that where one of them does kiss one of them kisses an ape. He's like, at the end of the movie, he goes, and I'd like to kiss you goodbye. And she's like, but you're so disgusting. And then they
kiss.
Yeah. Oh, and that's weird. They don't include that in the new franchises.
Yeah, that to me doesn't sit well with my stomach. I I'll start getting into apes more though, if that's what you think I should do.
I know. As I said to you, and I just said to you, I don't even want to see apes. That's why I like the original Planet of the Apes.
Now I have a question.
They're not. I don't like the CGI monkeys in the new Planet of the Apes. I think that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's show the real shit. Yeah, I'm tired.
No, well, in the original, it's like they're people in costumes.
Oh. Well, let's. Well, no. Then I don't want. Then
did you think the original was monkeys?
Then I'm the problem because I was gonna say let's show the real shit, and then that would have been like let's start training animals to act, and that's not what we need, and that's not what I'm saying.
I don't even know if they let people act with like chimpanzees anymore.
What about cats?
Like big cats?
Like, do they allow cats to act in films? Because I'll tell you,
like lions or no, like a house cat,
like a house cat.
Yeah. What do you mean? You've never seen a movie where there's a cat in it?
I never know if it's real or not.
Inside Llewyn Davis?
Because I think
for some reason the first one that came to my mind.
Don't bring up Inside Llewyn Davis. We all know how it. Do not bring it up. Hang me, oh hang me. I don't need to think about that.
Hang me.
When that was like my number one played song in high school. Like that's sick. Like that's how
I was putting you onto some weird shit. It was weird shit.
You really got me weird as fuck. Like it's so bizarre. But anyways, back to the zoo.
Timberlake is in that movie.
Question. When it comes to the zoo, like let's say the animal was hurt. It was hurt, you brought it in, you rehabilitated that animal. It's thriving in its new environment. It loves its little friends. Does it ever get to a point where you're saying, all right, I think Jeremy's ready to go back into the wild?
That's the objective for a lot of zoos, is to be able to. It's like almost a failed mission when they can't do that. Like a lot of zoos, and some zoos will, a lot of zoos, that's the goal. Some zoos will take in sick animals and rehabilitate them and release them. Like turtles, that happens a lot because turtles obviously are like a very at-risk species, and they get hit by propellers or like get pollution, like the way that plastic bags like get stuck in their stomach. And the goal is to get those happens more with marine life, I feel.
Yeah, I can see that. But then I'm sure you brought up a good point once actually when we talked about zoos. And it was you put it in context. I could only assume with the suburbs.
Yeah. Well, we were looking at the lions in that safari, and I was like, this lion has like no idea that like it could be on a safari hunting and just living a wild life. But and my sister was like, but it's safer here. It's healthy here. It's never going to get killed or attacked here. Like it has food every single day. And I was like, yeah, but like, that's kind of the thing is like, it's not suburbs, it's comfort zone. Like like a zoo is a comfort zone for the animal, and we're anthropomorphizing them.
This is why I shoot for four lettered words
usually. I think we're anthropomorphizing them by giving them that level of like awareness that they like are realizing they're lacking something. But it's true, like you think about that lion, and maybe it is safer and healthier and will live a longer life in captivity, but will it live a fuller life?
I do wonder. I hate to take this to Charles Darwin. I always hate to bring it up to Charles Darwin.
You love bringing up Charles Darwin,
but it makes me wonder. Survival of the fittest, and that is a normal theory, right? When it comes to the animals and environment, and I don't know, maybe there's a problem with that statement, and I'm sure there is, and I'm sure someone's gonna let us know. But survival of the fittest, these animals are in nature and they need to fend for themselves, and they're saying if they're gonna get hurt, they're gonna get hurt. They have to survive. But I understand if you see an animal get hurt, nothing is around it, you take that animal and you rehabilitate it.
And that's why I think that's the positive is in some of these animals, like if they get hurt, the species goes from 11 alive to 10 alive. You know what I mean? So having them to be able to make sure that like they don't become the next dinosaurs is good. It's good to be able to populate them internally.
Just makes me wonder.
But like lions are a creature to me, like it depends on where your habitat is, but like their main thing is they're gonna sleep. They want to be able to sleep. Like lions, I think, are very similar to people in some ways. Like they just want to sleep. They want to like fuck, and they want to eat food, and they don't want to be interrupted. That's like basically all creatures. Yeah. Those are the three objectives. But they don't want like lions like have their space, and the only time they really have to leave that space is when like conflict happens. So for a lion, I'm like, if they have enough space to lay around and just get food and like get enrichment in some way, they're fine.
It's so interesting to me too. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm bringing up some really crazy points. The lions, their hair grows in such a manicured, beautiful way. I'm just wondering, like, I have to do a lot of maintenance to look good. They don't have to do shit necessarily. They're not getting buzzed.
And this is a great point. And this is a complete pivot, but it's the same way that people say that like men look good without makeup and women don't. We've just been conditioned to feel that way. I mean, a lion, we've never seen a lion make an effort. We've never seen a lion really put in the work. Like, you know, so every lion looks beautiful. It's the same way that, like, again, a man can show up to a red carpet with no makeup. We don't bat an eye. Pamela Anderson does it. We're still talking about it. It's like a year and a half into it.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's strange to see someone not follow the conventions. So lions have no conventions to follow.
So maybe that's a good lesson. It's like, let's strip back some of those conventions to allow us all to be a little more natural.
Yes, that's why I'm like pro unibrow. I'm like, this is like literally what I was born with.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Maybe I take it back. I'm kidding. You look good.
Andrew, you also have a unibrow currently.
What are you saying?
I'm literally looking at your eyebrow hair.
What are you saying to me?
What are you talking about? Have you looked in a mirror?
I thought I shaved it.
When?
A few days ago.
Oh, maybe you did then. But I noticed it a few days ago. And I was like, good for him.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, I'm also like, this is a really crazy statement I'm going to make. I'm just thinking, we're a different species than these animals. We're taking them in and we're rehabilitating them. Mm-hmm. What would that be to us? Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens really aren't that bad.
That is why I'm so into zoos right now, because of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really have been drawing that parallel incessantly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch these zoo shows, you watch this animal like have a limp and then it gets shot with a dart and then it's in an operating room and it wakes up and it's back on land. It's back in its exhibit and it's like has a cast on its leg.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck just happened to me?
It's kind of like, beam me up, Scotty.
It's
Might
that.
as well.
It literally is that. It's like, huh? Like, wait, so... And then some of them are not put down because it's like the anesthesia obviously is dangerous for an animal and like everything. But so they'll be awake in the operating room. And it's like, what? It's suddenly like laying on a table, like looking at people in a bright white room, making cuts into its body and then stitching him back up and then saying, you're free. You're safe again.
I wonder if an alien had their hands on me, shot me with a dart, what I would walk out doing, what I would be. You know what I mean? I would have, like, I don't know. I really don't know. They'd probably fix my lactose intolerance. Mm-hmm. I would assume that would be first step. They would fix, I'm not sure, any sensitivity, any acid reflux.
Something else, maybe.
They would be fixing something else that's a little bit more private. and I think that's probably, I think they'll leave it there and then they send me right back.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what else I would have on the list for the alien. Now it's just surgery. Now it's just go to a plastic surgeon. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is actually really informational, I think, not only to me, but to the audience when it comes to zoos. I'm trying to think about, well, I'll tell you. I know I said this before. I've been to the Australia Zoo. And I do remember speaking about the Australia Zoo. I have no idea where it was in Australia. It was definitely a more remote part of Australia. But talk about a zoo that I did love going to. It was beautiful. The climate was incredible. Yeah. The lushness of the greenery. Those animals were being taken care of. And I don't know much about the Irwins. I don't. I loved Steve for a while. And then...
What changed?
Nothing changed with Steve. I just think that, like, you know what? We had that clip go viral, unfortunately, when I said he needed to watch his back. You know what I mean? You were playing with fire, and sometimes that's the risk that you take. You're in the animal's natural environment. Yes. You don't know what's going to happen. Steve would agree. Yeah, and I think Robert's taking that on now. Robert's doing the same thing.
He is a judge on. He's a host of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Australia. His picture is plastered all over Melbourne. All over.
What's the show?
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Remember that show from like the 2000s in America?
No.
It's like they put celebrities in like the jungle.
Oh.
I think like Spencer or Heidi did it. Like it was like that kind of like denomination of a celebrity at that point. But Robert Irwin is the host of it.
He's everywhere. I see him on the internet all the time too.
I'm sure you do.
He's blowing up on the internet.
Yeah.
Crazy to see him like that.
What do you mean?
Just on the internet. Grown. Bindi, on the other hand, still making music.
Is she?
I think so.
She's a mother.
I'm sure she'll have a
mothering.
Song about mothering soon, just
She's
like every
mothering.
other mother.
Bindi was mothering since the day she was born. Bindi the Jungle Girl, that show.
Yeah.
I love
It's amazing. And when I was at the Australia Zoo, and
Yeah.
I remember speaking on this, and I think we might have included the video. I'm not sure, but I still have
we
it.
did.
She was Hannah Montana to these bitches. Like, she was really performing to the masses, and like then she got to be up on stage. I thought this was interesting. She got to be up on stage. She was doing her song and dance about turtles. Robert Irwin was in the rink with the alligators. They put Robert down on the front lines, and Bindi was protected singing as it was happening.
Yeah, of course.
That's
at the same time.
Yeah, she was on stage as he was down there.
It was like a joint performance,
and they were like talking. Well, she would sing, they would talk. She'd be like,
That can't
Robert. He's like, I'm going in for the alligator. And you're like, oh my God, this is high drama. This is camp.
She married an American, Bindi.
Why was I gonna say good for her? Like that's what I need to deprogram.
Yeah.
Good for her. I mean, I guess she got her citizenship if she wanted it. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I can't marry an Australian and get citizenship in Australia.
And her mom is American.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I always forget that she's American.
So she switched places.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Speaking of switching places, oh no, I can't talk about this. It was not going to be about the zoo. Let's continue.
What was it going to be?
I was thinking we should we should bring back like wife swap, but like roommate swap.
Who would you want to swap with?
I think that we have to swap. Like someone like one of us needs to leave the space, and we have to bring in somebody.
Who?
Just a random person. Who would you think that if I was to leave and someone was to fill my space, who would have no, because it wouldn't work. I think if I stayed here and you were to leave, someone who would be brought into the space would have to be like tyrannical.
Yeah.
Or someone who was like not put up with shit and yell
That's
at
not
me.
me.
Well, I think someone a little bit more confrontational.
Okay. Yeah.
But sorry,
What the hell was that about?
I don't know. I heard the word swap, and I just went right to wife swap.
So zoos. Is there a favorite animal for you?
What is my favorite animal? My favorite animal when I'm at the zoo, I would probably say I have 5. Is that okay? Should I go with my 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start at the bottom. Bottom, I'm gonna say lions, just because they are gorgeous and I need to see them, and because they're like the king.
Yeah.
King of the jungle. Right above the lion, elephant. I love to see those ladies. Those girls are stomping. They're gorgeous. Right above the elephant for me, that's probably going to be more giraffe because I can feed them. They're fun. Right above the giraffe, let's go towards the sea lions, the otters. They're always a good time. They're really reliable. Once you get to the top of the jungle for me, that's going to be a tough one. I'm probably going to have to go with, I would say hippo. Just because I don't often see a hippo, and when I do, it's shocking. And they bounce, they go under the water, they come right above the water. And I loved hungry hippos growing up.
Whoa.
That wasn't even planned.
That was crazy just now.
What about you?
I love a meerkat. I love meerkats. They've always been a big one for me. Meerkat Manor, the TV show.
Yeah, you were
forget.
a big meerkat head.
I love Meerkat Manor. So meerkats are always fun to see. Lions. I do love a lion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's always like, for some reason, it always feels rare and special to see a lion. It feels like crazy that you're seeing a lion.
It's like Selena Gomez would make a song about it.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I'm more of an aquarium girl, so it leans towards the fish and the sea creatures. I will say, like, I lean towards. I saw puffins. most recently at the Central Park Zoo, and
you love a puffin.
They were so cute.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, they're not getting enough credit. Like, puffins are being, like, the penguin PR industry is just annihilating what could be a massive career for puffins.
Yeah.
And people are letting America lie to them.
Yeah.
And, like, really, really not realizing that there is something much, much, much cuter, more brilliant, adorable even out there.
How do they feel, do you think? Like
penguin-y. Oh, how do they feel emotionally?
Yeah, because I mean, like, we all know a penguin. Bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even mean to shame the penguin like that. Was that coming off that way?
No, I was just laughing
You
at
look
me
shocked.
saying that they feel like penguins.
You're like penguin-y. But we know penguins.
Yeah.
Puffins are just like their smaller sisters.
Right. But puffins, have you ever seen a puffin swim underwater?
No.
Well, we have to pull up some clips.
I actually might be lying
you were
to
in
you.
Iceland.
I was in Iceland and I absolutely saw them and went to the beach.
They're adorable. Underwater, you see a puffin swim underwater.
Can they fly?
I don't know.
For a second?
Maybe. I didn't see that happen. I saw them swim underwater and they look like they're flying underwater. They flap those fucking wings.
I hate to say, I
like
think
little
I
chickens.
still have videos. I think they fly.
I'm sure they can flutter.
They went from the top of that mountain or that little rock and they clapped those wings and they ended up in the water.
That's adorable. And that's what I'm saying. We need more attention on the puffins. Like, that is, to me, big priority this quarter, is to really amplify the puffin culture. Because what are we all talking about capybaras for still? It's been years. You know what I mean? But it's like of course. But I feel like culturally we pick an animal to make the new, like, adorable thing. Like, it was axolotls.
Yeah.
For a while. It was capybaras. It was definitely penguins when we were kids.
But there was always a bitch in school that was like, my favorite animal's an armadillo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they never made it. They never cut to the mainstream like a narwhal did, because narwhals had a big moment as well.
Yeah, they did.
Huge moment culturally.
Like, you're gonna want to talk to me about an anteater right now?
Yeah.
Move aside.
Well, those are different.
Bro. An armadillo and an anteater?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking about the wrong thing.
Echidnas are very cute. Echidnas are adorable.
I was thinking you would be a penguin and I would be a puffin. Oh, I'm sorry, but I think that's cute. Because, like, you're just, like, not even, like, bigger. You're just, like, taller. And, like, you're, like, and, like, I'm an offshoot of your species. I'm, like, smaller and, like,
I think
miniature.
that you should really investigate that thought process in therapy.
Oh, should I?
I think that says a lot about.
Do you want to come with me to my next therapist session?
Please.
I think she would eat you up.
I really want to meet her.
She would have a lot to say, I think.
But yeah, I guess I would fall under the penguin category. I'd be like one of those freaky penguins.
Now, why do you have to be freaky?
Just because that.
Do they have like little hair?
Yeah, like the macaroni penguins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rockhopper.
Yeah. Rock harder. Sorry.
You brought up erections twice in this episode about zoos.
It's like, what
and
is
that? Oh, and I guess I brought up the sexy Planet of the Apes scene.
Yeah, but I know I do want to call, like, I want to say that you're into animals, but
you talked about a gorilla's hard penis.
Not that I didn't willingly want to talk about it. I was just saying what I saw. And it had a rock hard dick. And it was weird. It was off-putting for the children.
I'm sure.
It was extremely.
But that's nature.
That's nature.
That's the side. That's the weird side of zoos that people seem to forget. It's like, you're not going to the, like, you go to the zoo, you're expecting the Build-A-Bear version of every animal, and then it's like, oh no, they are pissing, shitting, and coming.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
You think you're walking into the zoo and the propaganda of Madagascar
propaganda.
They're thinking they're walking in there and they're going to see these animals doing what they expect the animals to do, like they're watching a TV show.
Yes.
But no. They could be fucking. They could be. And you happen to have to watch it because that's what they said they were doing at that time. Because they're not on your schedule. They're not on your schedule, Catherine.
What was your favorite animal growing up?
My favorite animal growing up? Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, when you were a kid and people were like, what's your favorite animal? What did you say?
I honestly couldn't even tell you. I tend to lack opinions, but not in a way that's like concerning. It's just kind of like I'm good.
But it's just so shocking because I think I'm the polar opposite. Like, I would die without my opinions.
Yeah, you're one of the most opinionated people I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just don't, you couldn't think of a favorite animal growing up?
No, I couldn't. It really is like, all right.
What favorite color?
Blue. But that's like so stereo. It probably was because I was a boy. That's all I really knew. So I probably didn't think outside of like blue.
Favorite food?
Pasta.
Favorite.
Well, but like, I mean, like, if we're gonna get into pasta.
Favorite singer?
Singer? Couldn't even tell you.
Who do you listen to most frequently? Right now it's Doechii. I know that.
Right now it's just Doechii, really. And then, like, honestly, I've been listening to a lot of Cher.
Love that. Okay. Yeah. That's fun.
I really do listen to a lot of Cher and a lot of Celine Dion.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like an older gay.
You're an old queen. Yeah. I'm an old queen. You.
I'm really into I'm Alive lately. I listen to that on repeat. I've been listening to a lot of oldies.
All right.
Michelle Branch.
Yeah.
Been listening to her. What else? Any other
well, I just like really well, it's exciting because it's like you're actually now we're getting somewhere with it. So
maybe what I will start doing going forward is like having more opinions, but I honestly I like to hear others' opinions. I do.
know, but I also am like, what does that say? Can you ask your therapist? Because maybe
Why?
It's completely normal. Like I want a professional's opinion on that.
I would like to know that too.
And I guess maybe it's just because I'm so opposite that I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy that you did not have a favorite animal growing up. Like, that's shocking to me.
Let me think for a second.
Dog? I think you loved a dog.
I loved a dog. You know that I couldn't resist the dogs.
Couldn't resist a dog.
I'm thinking. I liked I'm trying to think about what I had around in my room as a kid. Didn't
you have these monkeys?
I did have those monkeys.
I remember you having those monkeys.
Favorite animal?
You had a big donkey from Shrek.
I did have a big donkey from Shrek. I was gonna say donkey when you asked me originally, and I think it was because of
that donkey toy.
It was because of that donkey toy, but I also always thought like maybe because of Shrek, I resonated with Donkey because it was Eddie Murphy. So it was like, he's just like the goofier one. And then I always thought like donkeys really get the shit end of the stick. Like to your point with penguins and puffins, it's like there's horses and donkeys. And I know they're very different, but it's just like, to me, they're still getting rode. They're still getting ridden.
And let's talk about mules for a second.
Packed mules? Isn't that what they call them?
Pack mules?
Oh, it's without the ED.
Yeah.
Well, we can't always not have ED. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. That's a tough one.
But you know what a mule is? I recently learned this from Ross.
No.
A hybrid horse and donkey.
Is that common knowledge?
I know. There goes my entire perception of the world. Everything changed when I heard that.
I know that out of our listeners, at least probably 35%, I would say, knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mules. I thought they were just another word for a donkey.
Let's start teaching more in schools.
Don't get me started on burros.
What's a burro?
I think it's a type of donkey. I saw them in the wild in Nevada one time.
All right, now it's getting crazy. It's like we want to start telling us that there are different versions of donkeys.
I think there are smaller.
How much smaller?
I don't know.
What's a pony?
A small horse.
How?
It's a different like thing. It's not a horse.
It's not a baby horse.
No, that's a misconception. Yeah, ponies are a type of horse or like a completely different thing.
I can't even begin to say. I think that this episode was extremely informational
and fact-based
and
grain of salt.
But like, I think that we can start every single episode saying, take this episode with a grain of salt.
I was actually thinking the podcast could be renamed Grain of Salt so easily.
That's a really good podcast.
So easy to pivot to that name.
Grain of salt.
Grain of salt.
Good
salty
merch.
Grains.
Really good merch.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
yeah, we learned a lot.
And I think after this episode, I would like to see a zoo. but I need to do my due diligence before I step foot through those gates.
I wonder if there's like a website that like has grades for the zoo's ethics. Like that would be interesting to see.
That would be really
interesting. You know what I mean? If zoos, and maybe this exists, and maybe this is something that someone should get into. It probably wouldn't happen under the current regime. But I think that maybe, like, God willing, there's another election one day. Like, if someone could enact, like, a government agency that's in charge of, like, monitoring all wildlife.
You don't think that exists?
I don't know. Do you think it exists currently?
Nothing exists currently, unfortunately.
But I'm saying it's not wildlife, like, which I think does exist. But I'm saying, like, if there was someone's job to... I guess how does that maybe it does work? Does the government get involved in the zoos, or are they privately owned? I think zoos are privately owned, but I do think some have like
some are public.
Yeah, so like the Central Park Zoo, for example, is a state owned zoo.
Yes.
I can only presume. But I'm going to get more into that information, and I'll let everyone know at some point.
Thank you.
Everything I learned.
Thank you for doing the research for the ones that just physically can't.
Yeah.
And that is going to be me. Good children to the guidance office.
Hi, Joe and Andrew. This is Shannon here.
I love a Shannon.
You don't know me, but boy, do I know both of you. As someone who loves to have a best friend myself and can see a lot of us in the two of you, do you guys think you fall into certain roles in an iconic duo? So, for instance, like, I'm the Andrew, of course, and my best friend is the Joe. So would you guys be like, who's more Trixie and who's more Katya? Who's more Blair? Who's more Serena? What are some other duos? Bert and Ernie? I bet you guys can come up with a whole lot more, too. But that's my question. Have a wonderful episode. Goodbye!
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You're Selena Gomez.
You're the scene.
I'm Miley Stewart. You're Lily Truscott.
For sure.
I'm Abby. You're Alana.
For sure. You're Allie. I'm AJ.
Whoa. Yes.
Right.
A million. That one feels really good to me. That one makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Trixie and Katya, I can't really do a solid identification on that one.
Because I do believe like we're like a mixture.
Yeah,
I would say. I don't know who leans more what. I think that maybe you lean more Trixie
and you lean more Katya. Probably.
I think so.
But then there are so many Trixie elements of you and so many Katya elements of me.
For sure.
It's sun and moon. Yeah, you're definitely a Trixie moon. I'm a Katya moon.
Yeah.
And then sun is reversed.
Definitely when we watch like to your point, Broad City, it's like, okay.
Who's who?
You said Alana, Abby.
No, I said Abby, Alana.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. People have called it different ways for us for that one.
Yeah.
We should have asked Alana.
We still could.
I guess, yeah.
I wonder what it takes though, because it is so interesting when people are like, "Oh, I'm so Andrew, I am so Joe." Like, what are our defining characteristics that make people? Because it's like on either side, it's not bad, good. It's just like
it's just who we are.
Because they're so quick to be like, "I'm you."
Well, I think that I would argue it would be for you, like what we just discussed, the difference in our way that we approach opinions.
For sure.
I think that the Joes are very opinionated, probably have very harsh, loud opinions.
And the Andrews are very go with the flow.
Yeah.
They're very happy to be there.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. And we could probably stem that into every person that we talk about. In that case, I would be the Alana and you would be the Abby.
That's where I saw it, but there are parts of Alana that I'm like, okay, that makes sense for me.
The crazy fun parts of Alana are very you, and then the stick in the mud, like.
But down to Abby, like working at Solstice, like I sometimes when I'm mopping the floors of a fitness studio, I'm like, this was already written.
I guess that's a tough one. Because even then down to like Alana's like freakiness with like just culture in general, I feel like there's so many things that I have fallen into in that trap. Mm-hmm. And then like down to like the social justice warrior Alana arcs.
Yeah, I would say like you're also someone who might identify with you is that social justice warrior who also loves to read books. You're very literary. You're very reading books.
We're projecting. Actually, I'm not even going to touch on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would say for me, it's more like I am one foodie. So any foodies out there, I think they might say like, that's so Andrew. He talks about food in a crazy way. You don't have to turn to me for books, right? Like I'm even turning to you for books. I'm so excited to read this book on my trip because I'm like, you said to read the book. I finally get to make it my room out. Yeah. You got to, you know what I mean? So those are different areas. And then it's just
Bert and Ernie, whichever one has the big long head is me, and then you're the other one.
The other one that has like the big.
What?
The big.
Like the banana head one is me, and the orange head one is you.
I think that means that, I don't know.
You're Ernie, I'm Bert.
Yeah.
Right? I think.
I would say Mario Luigi.
Would you? No. You're Mario. I'm Luigi.
You're Luigi?
Yeah.
You're Mario.
Why?
I'm kidding. I said Wario.
Oh, Wario? Yeah. Yeah, that would make more sense.
Mario, you're Wario. No, that's crazy. I'm trying to think if there's any other...
You're the twink. You're the redhead. I'm the twink.
For sure.
That one's undeniable.
Undeniable.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the one duo that since we are friends with them, I'm like, there are so many things.
It's crazy.
It's easier when you have proximity to these duos, and I think that's what a podcast is too. It's like you guys have everything on us, so you can identify. And I'm like, oh, I'm Ashley.
All it takes is one thing, truly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Who else? Other iconic duos. I don't know anything about Gossip Girl.
Yeah, no, I don't really know anything about Gossip Girl either.
But I'm gonna assume, and I could be completely wrong, I'm going to assume that you would be the Blair Waldorf and I'd be the Serena van der Woodsen.
For sure. I did watch a little bit of it. Lorelai and Suki. That was classic.
Lorelai, Suki. Yeah, I'm Lorelai. You're Suki.
So easy.
Yeah.
Sunny, Cher.
You're Sunny. I'm Cher. I don't know anything about Sunny.
Me either.
Oh, that's so sad. Why would you make yourself Sunny then? You don't know anything about him. Why do you have to make yourself the dead one?
I don't know, actually. That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to when you bring that up.
Joe Exotic for me, Carol Baskin for you. Just
easy.
To bring it back to 2020 and bring up Joe Exotic for the second time this episode.
That's so easy.
Easy.
Any other like duo singers, duo groups?
Duos.
There's really no other duos out there.
I think there's plenty.
There's a lot of dynamic duos out there.
TV shows about duos? Who's Maya? Who's Anna? Maya, Anna.
For sure.
You're Anna.
I'm
Maya.
I would say, in terms of Shake It Up,
tough. I don't really know anything about what happens in that show.
Me either.
But you're Zendaya.
I can see myself being Zendaya, and you would have that Bella Thorne song.
Yes.
You would. I'm tired of rumors starting. Joe, what's your rumor this week?
My rumor this week, I am so happy to finally say I can finally talk about this book. Evenings and Weekends by Ocean McKenna. This book was recommended to me by a listener, and I will be in forever debt to that listener. I don't know what happened. They posted about it, and it felt so sincere of a request where I went out that day and got the book. I made a point to buy it, and I was already reading another book, but I was like, I just know I'm going to like it because they seemed so confident. If you are a reader, if you're not a reader and you were a reader, if you're not a reader, period, and you're like not really into books and you want to pick up a book, I cannot recommend a book more in my life. Evenings and Weekends, Ocean McKenna. It follows one hot weekend, the hottest weekend of the summer 2019 in London. It is third person omniscient, so you're getting everyone's stories, everyone's opinions. It follows about 6 to 7 different people, friends, relatives, relationships, and it all takes place on this one. I'm not even selling it properly currently. It is a book that changed my perspective on my relationship to my friends and my relationship to my parents in a very crazy way. It is so entertaining. It's not like it's like a self-help book, but the story that he is telling is so compelling. It's so right now. It is modern. It feels so important that anyone our age or who relates to us reads this book. I cannot overstate it. Truly go out and go to your library, go to your local bookstore, and get a copy of Evenings and Weekends by Ocean McKenna, and let me know. Tag me in your posts. Let me know how you feel about it. I am so inspired by this book and by his work. I sobbed every time I read the book. Every time I read a chapter, I was sobbing on an airplane, in my bedroom. Garrett heard me sobbing in my room when I finished it, choking, sobbing. And it's not even that sad. It's not even that sad. It's not really a sad book at all. I was choking, sobbing on this book. It just felt like, to me, reading The Perks of Being a Wallflower for the first time, like the first time I read that book, I felt so like seen and so spoken to. I just remember being like, this book is going to be in my life for the rest of my life. And I felt the exact same way reading Evenings and Weekends by Ocean McKenna. Buy it.
I'm excited to read it. Joe told me to actually Joe bought it for me, which was really sweet.
Because I really think it's going to change your life. I really do.
I can't wait.
I really do.
I can't wait. My room this week, well, I'm going to talk more about it. I'm definitely going to talk more about it when I come back. But my room of this week is going to be this is solo travel. I haven't experienced it yet, but it took me a really long time to buy a round trip ticket for just myself. Not knowing anybody, I will be going to Mexico City. It's going to really put me to work. It's going to put those 10 years of Spanish to work. And all I'm thinking about is like, I'm legitimately sick to my stomach that I'm going by myself. And that's so normal for so many people that they can travel alone. But I think I am somebody who really relies on the comfort of others to feel, not alone, or like, what are we going to do? To your point, going with the flow. Like, now it's time for me to be in charge of the decisions I make for 5 days in a foreign country that I don't really know anybody at. But I said to myself, if I don't do this now, I probably won't do it in the future. Maybe I would, but I needed that mindset to be able to say click purchase. And I know that not everyone is in the financial place to say like, I'm going to go on a solo trip for myself, but I was tracking those flights. When it went to the lowest amount, I got it. When I found an Airbnb and it was $70 a night, I was like, I can do this for 5 nights, and then made it work and figured it out. Credit card points, whatever. But like, I am very, very excited. It is something that is new and different, and we're going to see how I come back different. Like, maybe I met people. I finished the book. I ate good food. I'm going to share some things along the way, but I want to also be as disconnected as possible.
You're blocking those apps.
I'm going to block the apps for sure. I'll still be posting, but like, I'm going to try to schedule some posts, and then on the week when I get back, I'll then put out what happened in Mexico City.
I also want to say, you're saying that you're someone who relies on other people like for comfort. That's just like, sure, that could definitely be true for you, but I do think other people rely on you for comfort in every situation. Like, I think that is definitely the case. Look at this apartment, this household. Both of us rely on you for comfort. So I think that you can definitely move through this trip relying on yourself. And actually realizing that you know exactly how to make sure that you're comfortable and happy. And it's going to be really exciting for you to make decisions and not worry about how other people are going to feel about those decisions. You can say, we're going to go to this museum and it could suck, but no one's disappointed in you. It's your decision.
True.
You really, really can. This is going to be an amazing, amazing experience for you.
I'm excited. I'm going to come back tan.
You will, yeah.
I'm very excited. All right. Well, with that, hope you enjoyed. You know what to do.
Guys enjoyed the zoo.
Hope you enjoyed the zoo. Hope you're going to go to a zoo, maybe. But don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. Write a little something on Apple Pod. And spread the news to your friends. Spread the good word. It was so nice being able to meet people and saying, like, oh, I listened from the beginning, but my friend just started listening 3 weeks ago because I told them to. Like, that's how we're going to get the word out there. And if you enjoy it, we know people who you know are going to enjoy it as well. We hope. And
don't forget
to follow us across all social media platforms. On Instagram at Good Children Pod, on TikTok at Good Children Pod. And then I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella, on TikTok at Andrew_Muskie.
I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes, and on TikTok at Be Quiet Joe.
And we have a Patreon. It's $7 a month. Okay, and we chat I'm sure we're going to go into depth in both of our trips. We have a backlog of, I don't even know how many episodes.
200.
200 episodes that you can watch since the very, very beginning. And chats, 4 different chats where people are talking all the time. You can meet new friends. You can send your pet pics. It's $7 a month. I got the eye of the tiger fighter, dancing through the fire. I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than a lion, 'cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
I think the harmony there was
pretty good.
Stunning for a second,
and then I got lost. Oh.